Hi, everybody. Josh Rugger here in studio with an update on those strong thunderstorms that are pushing through northwest Arkansas right now and also portions of the River Valley. Want to just give you a quick update to not only put your mind at ease, but also show you where these storms are developing right now. Really kind of developing in the exact way we thought they would. We're still watching to see if the system will throw any curveballs at us, but for the most part, right now, these storms are not doing too much. But again, with how strong this system is, we could always have some curveballs thrown at it. So let's go ahead and take a look at Howell Heating Cooling Mega Doppler right now. You can see those thunderstorms beginning to push through portions of northwest Arkansas, south of Harrison, near the Jasper area. Boone and Newton County being impacted by those storms. We've also got Johnson and Logan counties seeing some thunderstorms, as well as Scott County. But again, these storms are not really doing too much at this current time. And if we put this into, if we stop it right here, you'll see these storms do have a lot of lightning. They are semi-discrete right now, which typically means that they would have a better chance of being stronger. But because of those veering winds, Dan Scott's been talking about it over the last several days. Because of those veering winds, these storms are struggling to maintain their updrafts and struggling to tap into the environment that's in place, because the environment that we have in place right now is favorable for severe thunderstorm development. It's just that with the timing of the system, with how this dry line is quickly pushing off to the east, with the veering winds with height, you're not getting a whole lot of severe weather activity right now. But of course, like we always say, things can change pretty rapidly. So we're watching these storms very closely. I know we got some viewers in Western Grove that are watching these storms. There is a one that's moving in right now, but to put your mind at ease, there is really no tornado potential with this at all. These are highly elevated thunderstorms at this time, and they're not really doing too much right now. That's probably the strongest storm we've got. There's another storm right here that's to the northeast of Yale, northwest of Ozone, that's moving into Newton County now. This storm, not too bad either. And then we've got another storm to the west of Paris. Again, just a strong storm, not seeing too much of activity. In Fayetteville, again, this is really evolving just like we thought it would. There's not a whole lot of activity after you get west of our easternmost counties. In Colby, you're exactly right. Colby affected here, but I'll show you in just a moment that some folks in Illinois and Iowa and Missouri are in for a rough day today. That's for sure. And even into eastern Arkansas as well. But the high risk has been issued or will be issued very soon for Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri. And man, oh man, is this a system that could cause some big time issues for those folks. Okay, Alexa, so you're in Harrison right now. I wanted to also give you an update on that Western Grove storm, but you're in Harrison. So we put the storm into motion here. It does look like the storm's actually going to clip portions of Harrison, Alexis, unless things get a little bit more crazy here over the next few minutes. But otherwise, Alexis, even if these storms do hit your area, I don't think they're going to be all that bad right now. But we'll watch them very closely. Like I said, the storm risk doesn't end until the dry line pushes through your area. So we're going to be watching them. Obviously, with the strength of the system, things can turn around quickly, and we'll be here watching them until the risk has shifted off to the east. But right now, Alexis, you're good in Harrison and Western Grove. Even though there is going to be a storm that's moving through, it's not very strong at all. Yeah, you put Colby out there, he might be able to protect those people, but it's going to be a rough day, Josh, for a lot of folks in the midsection of the country, especially in eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, moving up through Missouri, Illinois, Iowa. Obviously, with that high risk that's going to be coming out, definitely not a good situation today. That is for sure. Though I do have a few doubts, and they're not a lot of doubts, and they're not, huge doubts, but I do think there is some limiting factors with those storms that are going to go on in eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee. If I was chasing today, definitely would be a little bit further north, but man, we definitely need to keep the people that are going to be impacted by these storms in our thoughts and prayers, because this could be a rough day for a lot of people. Nikita, it's sunny in Rogers right now, and if we look at our WeatherBug Network camera, let's go ahead and go to the Bentonville Square here. You can see that it is partly sunny right now. Those winds are starting to whip. Looks like there's a race going on as well. Looks like a bike race. I actually did not know that was going on today. I probably should have. But you can see those winds, they're whipping. That's for sure. That's a sign that a strong system is pushing through the area, no doubt about it. That's why we've got those wind advisories in effect. In fact, if we go and check out those watches and warnings, you'll see that here on the map. In just a moment, I'll pull that up. But we do have a lot of wind-related advisories and watches and warnings right now. You can see that right here. Now, we've got a red flag warning in effect for Delaware County. I don't anticipate that will be added to Northwest Arkansas just because we're not nearly as dry as Oklahoma. In fact, we've basically got no drought at all in Northwest Arkansas or the River Valley now that we've had all those systems pushing through. But there is that red flag warning for one county in our weather coverage area, Delaware County. That goes until 8 o'clock p.m. this evening. It starts within the next hour. Also, a high wind warning in effect for southwest Missouri. So Berry and McDonald counties under that high wind warning, and that's for wind gusts, folks, up to 60 miles per hour. So that's something that doesn't happen every single day. And then we've also got that wind advisory in effect, obviously, for Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. That goes until 7 o'clock p.m. Looks like another scam caller is calling the station, so we're going to go ahead and hang up on them if you heard that in the background. I'm telling you, man, what the heck? They just call me again? Whether this is Josh. Hello?
Yes, good day. My name is Alex. Yes, my name is Alex. And I'm calling in behalf of
And he had another scam caller. So I had two back-to-back right there. I'm not even joking. I literally had one person call who was a scam caller, and then a second one that called that started reading their script right off the bat. So that was interesting. Sorry you guys had to hear that. I mean, Dan's already talked about that anyway on these. So let's get back to the task at hand. That was pretty funny, though. Wind advisory in effect until 7 p.m. this evening. We're going to have some wind gusts that could be up to 50 to 55 miles per hour in Northwest Arkansas. Really, that's the top story right now, in my opinion. Unless these storms do something crazy, I think wind this afternoon and evening is going to be the top story, not the thunderstorms, at least here in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. You're probably going to hear about what happens in eastern Arkansas, western Tennessee, and up to Iowa, Illinois, and Missouri in the news tomorrow. But here in Northwest Arkansas, I don't think we're going to have a whole lot in the way of severe weather at all. But look at these temperatures. I mean, feels great when you step outside right now, that's for sure. 71 degrees in Bentonville, 76 in Fort Smith. Fayetteville, the cool spot at 69 degrees, so that may be rain-cooled air there. You can definitely see where that rain-cooled air is setting up as well from the outflow from some of these storms. But these temperatures, not too bad at all. We will have some deeper dew points that are still around, and until that goes away, we do have that severe weather potential. So I'm going to show you the dew point map right now. And it's pretty clear where the dry line is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that because it's, until this dry line pushes through Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, we still have to watch the radar very closely. And here it is. You can see that line of deeper dew points to the east and drier air to the west. So you see where that moisture plume is setting up, and this is surging north right now towards these areas where it really doesn't need to be in place because the parameters in northern Missouri and southern Iowa are off the charts. So this is bad news here. Now you see these dew points in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, and you say, well, we've got the moisture return. Why aren't these storms going to take off? Well, we've got those veering winds. We've talked about that. But we've also got a bit of a cap in some locations in Northwest Arkansas. The farther east you go, the less of a cap there is. But that acts as a lid for thunderstorm development, and we're not seeing a whole lot of it right now in NWA. We're also seeing Cape robbers, which is, even though we've got surface-based Cape in place over our area, it's actually getting robbed by the atmosphere, and the current parameter space doesn't favor that surface-based Cape actually being taken advantage of. So that's another limiting factor with this storm system in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. But again, once this dry line pushes through, the storm risk is out and the wind risk is in. Now, if we look at satellite and radar right now, we can take a closer look here and show you what's going on radar. And again, these storms are kind of semi-discrete right now. They're not doing too much, once again, because the parameter space is not favorable for severe weather. but some heavy rainfall, lightning, small hail, gusty winds, still a possibility. And of course, I'll be watching them very closely to see if they take off. The further south you get, though, I think the better chance you have of seeing severe thunderstorms. But the latest severe weather risk has actually had a downtrend for our area. I'll show you that in just a minute, but here's a wider view. Man, you can see where that warm sector is setting up too. Right over St. Louis, southern Iowa as well, western Illinois, these areas here. That's why that high risk is going to be issued soon. Eastern Arkansas is going to see some widespread severe thunderstorms. But once that dry line pushes through, that's it. That's when the storms are out of here, and you can see a very sharp, dry air mass beginning to push through Wichita and Oklahoma City. And that's racing this way right now. So once that pushes through, the moisture will be suppressed to the east, and we will be done with any severe weather potential. Now, I do see a comment. Quinn, I see your comment about Tuesday. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I did want to get to the latest severe weather risk that's going on right now because there is still some uncertainty about Tuesday, but it is looking pretty nasty. I'll just say that right now. So we'll talk about Tuesday in just a minute. But here's the latest severe weather outlook released from the Storm Prediction Center. If it will load up here, hopefully the system's not crashing. So there it is. You can see that really big moderate risk that's stretching all the way from Iowa to Mississippi and Arkansas. And there will be a high risk issued, I know for a fact, here in southeast Iowa, eastern Missouri, and western Illinois. That will be issued within the next few minutes. And then, Josh, you talked about another one that's going to be issued. I might have started this Facebook Live before I could see it. But it could also happen in eastern Arkansas as well. So 11:30 a.m. Thank you for that, Josh. That's when that high risk will be issued, I believe, in these two areas here. That's where we're going to have greater tornado potential. You're going to see a rare 30% hash risk for tornadoes in these areas. So potential severe weather outbreak could be happening today and could be imminent. But here's our severe weather risk in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Again, that risk is much further to the east, but we're still under that level 2 out of 5 slight risk. A few severe thunderstorms could be possible. That enhanced risk has been cut off from the eastern counties. So, Alexis, if you're still watching, that should give you a little bit of peace of mind as well. The enhanced risk was over Harrison and Western Grove yesterday and earlier this morning. But now that confidence continues to decrease that we will see severe weather, that has shifted out of the area. So no areas in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley under that enhanced risk. So that's certainly a good sign there. In terms of specific risk, let's go ahead and look at that with this little view here. I'm always like showing this graphic because you can kind of see the individual risk a little bit better. So damage and winds, large hail, that's always been the main concern. That's always been the main threats with this system. Again, hail up to the size of ping pong balls, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, certainly possible. Farther east you go, better chance you have of seeing that damage and wind potential. And it's the same deal with the tornado potential. Now, I think, me personally, I'm going to say this right now, I do think the tornado potential continues to go down as we speak. However, we know with systems that are this strong that we could have, a curveball thrown at us. Case in point, March 30th, 2022. Not saying that's going to happen with this system, but it's still something we have to watch closely, right? So, again, there is still that tornado potential, but it is going down for the majority of us here in northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Alexis, maybe a little bit higher around Boone County and Newton County, but not high at all. Very, very low tornado risk. So we'll keep watching that very closely, but that's the latest severe weather potential. Here's the latest model run from the HRRR, and you can see these storms just highly elevated, not taking off. And in fact, I think by 1, 2 o'clock, most of this activity is going to be out of the area. So I think the downtrend continues, folks. I think we are going to dodge the bullet because if these storms were coming through during the afternoon hours, this would be trouble. I mean, we would have the moderate risk over us. But it's coming through in the early morning. It's coming through before the better parameters can get in place, and that's why we're not going to see very significant severe weather potential. Josh, very interesting fact there. April 14th, 2012 was the last dual high risk day. That's insane. And you know what's crazy, Josh, is that I'm not looking too far ahead, but Tuesday is looking downright nasty as well. And we don't know the exact location yet where the highest severe weather potential is going to be for Tuesday, but Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley has the potential to be, in that higher end risk. So we'll watch that very closely. We'll talk about that in just a minute because I know Quinn wants me to show that latest risk, and it has changed quite a bit. Stormy just saw something about a PDS watch that may be coming in the River Valley area. So there was a mesoscale discussion, that did have some areas of the River Valley centered around it. In fact, I can show that here. If you stand by for just a few moments, I can pull up that real quick. So let me go ahead and open a new tab. Meanwhile, I see another question here from Tay. Where is the dry line? And so I'll go ahead and pull that up while I'm also pulling up that map. I swear, if this is another telemarketer, I'm going to be very mad. Whether this is Josh. Hello? And that's another telemarketer. That's 3 so far in this Facebook Live or this Weather Live, and it hasn't even been 20 minutes yet. That's crazy. So, Tay, there's the dry line right there. And in fact, I will draw another line here to show you where it is. So I'm just going to put it right through here. That's the dry line where this arrow is pointing. Basically, up and down from Wichita to Oklahoma City, just to the west of Dallas. That's where the dry line is. Once that pushes east of the area, the severe weather potential will be over. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up for you, Stormy. I'm going to pull up that mesoscale discussion so I can show you what that entails. Because even though an area might be highlighted in the mesoscale discussion, it doesn't mean that the watch will be issued for that area. I know that can be it can be confusing at times, even for me. When I see like an area issued in a mesoscale discussion, and then it ends up not being not actually having the whole area under that tornado watch. So I'm not pulling up on the SPC website, but I have another way that I can show this. So stand by for just a few more moments. And I can show you that here. It looks like there was another one that was just issued for portions of Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa. Okay, so I've got it pulled up. Let me go ahead and go to settings here. And let me pull up that. Looks like we just got a severe thunderstorm warning issued for the area. So let me show the mesoscale analysis real quick, and then I'll show you this latest severe thunderstorm warning. Because, Stormy, I know you wanted to see this. So hopefully that's showing up on your screen right now. I think it is. Hold on. Let me show it full screen here. So that way you guys can see the whole picture. Okay, so you can see that a lot of areas, Scott County, east into Logan and Johnson County, is outlined technically by this mesoscale discussion. But again, PDS tornado watch will eventually be needed for parts of the area. I don't know if they'll actually issue a watch for our counties. And if it is, it's going to be in far eastern portions of the coverage area. And I don't think the tornado potential is nearly as high in these areas as it will be in central Arkansas and eastern Arkansas. So to put your mind at ease, I don't think the severe potential or the tornado potential is going to be high, even if they include portions of our coverage area in the tornado watch. So I just wanted to show that. Let's get back to that severe thunderstorm warning. And let's look at Mega Doppler here. So here's high heating cooling Mega Doppler. I'm going to go ahead and switch the radar sites. I'm going to go to Fort Smith now, since the storms are not really developing near Tulsa. So we're going to get a better view of this severe thunderstorm. But you can see that severe thunderstorm warning, Johnson, Logan counties in our weather coverage area, as well as Pope County, just to the north of Russellville. When this loads here, you'll be able to see a little bit better view of that thunderstorm. But again, these storms have the threat for gusty winds, large hail for sure, but the tornado potential is not too high. Okay, this storm right here has got a little bit of a look to it. So let's go ahead and look at what that severe thunderstorm warning was issued for. So, by the way, another thing about these storms, they are moving extremely fast. 70 miles per hour is the storm motion on this one. So it was issued for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail. No tornado possible tag on it, so we don't have to worry about that. If we look at storm relative velocity, no indication to me that this storm has any threat of producing a tornado at this point. Highly elevated thunderstorm, though. If we look at the different tilts, you can see that. This storm is definitely way up there right now. It's not surface-based, so that's a good sign. But again, do have a severe thunderstorm warning issued for portions of the coverage area. So we'll watch that very closely. Again, for Johnson, Logan, and Polk County. So it's moving towards the Clarksville area right now, just to the north of Subiaco, and going to be impacting Hagerville within the next few minutes because the storm is moving so fast right now. Jeff, I see your comment there. Tuesday setting up to be interesting. That is for sure. We're going to have to watch Tuesday very closely. I'll show Tuesday in just a minute, but with that severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued, we have to look into that. Jeff, you also said that the baseball games this weekend are going to be beautiful. They are, though tonight's going to be interesting, Jeff, because the winds are going to be ramping up. We're going to have wind gusts potentially between 50 to 55 miles per hour. They may die down a little bit by 6 p.m., but definitely the early innings. Those are the innings to hit the ball because those winds are going to be racing out there. And I can't wait to be at Baum-Walker Stadium as well later on today and watch some Razorback baseball. But there's a severe thunderstorm. Jacob, let's talk Tuesday. Let's go ahead and talk Tuesday. That's a good point by you. Let's go ahead and talk Tuesday because we do have that severe thunderstorm warning right now. There's nothing here that really strikes me as out of the ordinary. We'll go back to the storm in just a minute, but let's look at Tuesday because Tuesday is going to be a very interesting event. So first of all, before we look at the dew points, Jacob, I want to show you the latest severe weather outlook. So there it is. It has shifted tremendously compared to yesterday. If you remember, the enhanced risk for severe weather was pretty much from a Springfield to Memphis to Texarkana and to Fayetteville line. It was kind of in a circle like this. So most of the coverage area was included in that enhanced risk of severe weather yesterday. Today, well, most of the coverage area is still included in the enhanced risk for severe weather. However, there's an area that's starting to show up that's favored for severe weather potential. And I think opposite of many of the storm systems that have pushed through northwest Arkansas and the River Valley over the last several months, along and north of Interstate 40, I think has the highest severe potential as we go into Tuesday of next week. The parameter space is insane, to say the least right now, at least according to the models. The one thing that I am a little bit iffy on is the timing, once again, of the system. If the system comes through a little bit earlier, if we get some morning convection, that's going to limit the severe potential quite a bit Tuesday afternoon. If we don't get any morning convection Tuesday, folks, this is a day that you need to be weather aware. You need to be weather aware in all severe weather situations, but this day in particular has my eye. It has Dan's eyes. It has Zach's eyes. We are watching Tuesday very closely. Now, Jacob, you had a very good point that you just mentioned there. What about the dew points? Well, we can look at that here. Let's go ahead and look at what the GFS is pumping out in terms of those dew points. So I'm going to move myself out of the way here. You see that the moisture return this weekend, nowhere to be seen. Once that dry line pushes through, we're going to be nice and dry, at least for Saturday. Now, Sunday, we're going to see those dew points start to surge back in. Now, here's the thing. The one thing that usually happens with significant severe weather event, folks, or significant severe weather events, and it allows for increased strong tornado potential, is the moisture to already be in place a couple of days before the event happens. Sunday evening, we're getting that moisture already returning to northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. You can see it here. And by the way, Sunday evening, we could have some thunderstorms. Same deal on Monday as well. In fact, I'm thinking about increasing the rain chances quite a bit for both days because of how strong this system is. But look at those dew points sticking around until Monday. And then Tuesday, that big surge in moisture, dew points in the 60s. Oh, man, my goodness. Yeah. You're definitely going to have the low level moisture in place. No doubt about it. Dew points in the middle to upper 60s area wide. This is bad news right here, folks. This is bad, bad news for Tuesday. We're going to have to watch this very closely. But again, there is a limiting factor to this system, and that is we could have morning thunderstorms on Tuesday in our area, and that could limit the amount of instability we get during the afternoon hours, and that would limit the strong to violent tornado potential. So, again, 5 days out, stay weather aware, stay tuned to the latest information. Zach's going to be all over this over the weekend. He'll give you the latest details, latest updates, and everything. But Tuesday is a day to watch. And Jacob, you saw it right there. Look at this. I mean, I'll show you it again. Moisture comes in Sunday, and it sticks around for a couple of days. This right here is trouble. You never want to see that before a big severe weather event, the moisture being in place for several days. So we'll watch this very closely. Again, I'll pull up the severe weather risk for Sunday again so you can see that. Yeah, Josh, I mean, they were using very strong language in that SPC discussion. They were mentioning strong tornadoes 5 days out, which I haven't seen that in a while. So we'll see what happens. And Jeff, you're exactly right. These temperatures are going to be warm. I mean, right now I've got highs in the lower 80s in Northwest Arkansas, middle 80s in the River Valley. There's going to be a lot of fuel for these thunderstorms. Cape values could be in excess of 3,000 area wide. That's a lot of instability. That's certainly not going to be a limiting factor with the systems coming in as long as we don't have any morning convection. If we have morning convection, that would be our saving grace for sure. Let's go ahead and go back to that thunderstorm that's going on near Clarksville. Again, you can see that mainly just a hail maker right now with some gusty winds possible. We'll take a look at the storm relative velocity. Again, there's nothing here that indicates to me that there's any tornado potential at all. So that's certainly a good sign. Just a strong storm moving through Clarksville. And I wonder if that will be dropped soon because there's really not a whole lot of activity going on at this time. Let's go ahead and look at some of these cameras here in Northwest Arkansas. Alamo WeatherBug Network camera, you can see those clouds streaming in right now, that low-level jet. If you woke up early this morning, you can really see that low-level jet kicking in. Woo! Those clouds were booking it. There's Bella Vista, Fulbright Junior High School. A lot of peaks of sunshine across Northwest Arkansas right now. You can see the windsock blowing in the wind at the Bentonville Square. Decatur City Hall, partly sunny skies at this time. Graduate Hotel camera. Looking a little, well, that's Kessler Mountain. There's a Graduate Hotel camera. You can already see blowing in the wind. Kessler Mountain might need to go get a power wash up there or something. Looks like pollen already covering the camera there. There's the Mount Sequoia cam. You can see the low-level jet there. Those clouds are racing in the low levels of the atmosphere. But again, just no storm development really over Fayetteville right now. Hashtag Colby effect definitely in play. This camera is showing an even better view of that low-level jet, though. It's kind of laggy. But you can see how quickly those clouds are moving. You step outside, they are booking it right now. Fort Smith Public Library camera. Just a few clouds moving through there. Some storms that passed through southeast of the area a moment ago. Garfield's down. Gravit WeatherBug Network camera. Again, partly sunny skies. Just not a whole lot going on right now, folks, for most of us in the weather coverage area. And we want it to stay that way. That's for sure. Okay. So here's Mount Magazine. So you can see some showers and some storms moving through there. Clouds are pretty low right now, too. LCLs. Dan actually just mentioned that right there. And you can see those storms that are pushing through Mount Magazine. Again, though, nothing there that shows me that they are surface-based or that they are going to produce tornado potential. That's a pretty interesting site there for sure. I always like the Mount Magazine camera because you can get really close to these storms since it's so high up in elevation. Wow, look at that low-level jet, though. That is insane how fast that's moving. That shows you how quickly that storm system is also pushing through the area. So there's only one severe thunderstorm warning in effect for our area right now, folks. I'm still watching that storm that's near Clarksville very closely in Johnson, Logan, and Pope County. Otherwise, besides that storm, another strong storm that's moving through eastern Boone County. Alexis, if you're still on right now, Harrison getting some heavy rain, but not a whole lot in terms of strong thunderstorms. There is some additional storms popping up near Kingston as well and Witter in Madison County. But again, those storms right now don't have anything major with them. Though a lot of lightning starting to show up in eastern Boone County, but that storm is beginning to move out of our weather coverage area. So things kind of evolving like the models said they would a couple days ago. But still getting some cool sights here from Mount Magazine, that's for sure, as that storm begins to push out of there. Jenny, you want to see a look at the radar here? I'll go back to it. You can see those storms that we were just looking at near the Mount Magazine camera in southeast Scott County. A lot of lightning, not a whole lot of severe weather. This is just a mess of rain. We go up to the severe thunderstorm warning in Clarksville. This storm is beginning to die out. You can see that if I put it into motion. It was a little bit stronger when it was near the Paris area. Now it's just more of a blob of convection. Not really doing too much. In fact, it's losing its lightning. So this severe thunderstorm warning will likely be dropped within the next few minutes. I believe it expires at 12:15 p.m. I don't even know if it will stay up that long. It might be expiring. It might be expiring soon. And then you got a few thunderstorms that are moving through the Western Grove area near Jasper as well. Again, these storms are strong, but they're not severe, and the tornado potential remains low with them. So that's what's going on the radar. We'll go with a wider view here so you can see all those storms in action. Again, though, Interstate 49 corridor, nothing much going on right now. I'm going to look, while you're looking at radar there, at the latest severe weather risk and see if it's showing up on my map now, and it is. And folks, this is really rare to see, but I'm going to show you this here. First time this has happened since 2012, April 14th. And this is really rare to see. So I'm going to move off the radar here, and I'm going to show you the latest day one convective outlook. Look at this. 2 high risk for severe weather. 2 of them. You've got one of them in eastern Arkansas, southwest Tennessee, and northern Mississippi. And another high risk in southeast Iowa, western Illinois, and far northeast Missouri. This is exceedingly rare. First of all, it's rare in general to see a high risk for severe weather, right? Like, you typically get a high risk for severe weather on average about once a year at most. Really, it's more like once every 2 years. But once a year, once or twice a year on average. So this is one of those times that we're seeing it. But not only that, we're also seeing 2 different areas outlined in that high risk for severe weather. That just doesn't happen a lot of the times, folks. This is exceedingly rare. And it's also tornado driven as well. So check this out. If I go to the tornado outlook here, oh man. So the colors are like they're getting melted together on here. So if I zoom in here, here's that area of higher tornado potential near Davenport and Quincy. This is an error, by the way. It should not be looking like that. It should be pink. Or it might be how we have it, because this is a 30% area. I think pink might be 45%. I'll have to ask Dan about that. I don't know if that's intentional or not, so I'm not going to mess with it. But you can see that kind of lighter shade of red in between the darker shade of red. That is the 30% hash risk for tornadoes in southeast Iowa, western Illinois, and northeast Missouri. And then if I jog a little bit further to the south here, there's that other risk that's centered just to the east of Little Rock, near the Memphis area, and just to the west of Tupelo. Oh, man. This is just an area you don't want to you don't want to have impacted by severe weather once again. This area has already been pummeled by severe weather earlier on in the year. We also had the tornadoes that happened just a week ago. This is something we don't want to see. Definitely, if I believe in the power of prayer, and I'm definitely going to be praying for these folks here. Just keep them in your thoughts and prayers because this is a real deal. Severe weather potential, folks, for these areas, and this is just not good. Not good at all. Josh, I see you're heading into Searcy right now. Stay safe today. If you are chasing, these storms, they're so fast moving, man. They're gonna be booking at 60 to 70 miles per hour. We're already seeing these storms that are moving through northwest Arkansas, pushing through at just lightning speeds. Josh, that's true. March 25th, 2021. I chased that day, and I didn't see anything. But that's good. That's good, though, at the same time. A lot of times when you get high risk, too, there's not a whole lot of limiting factors with the high risk, but they also typically, I've noticed on high risk days, the storms are moving pretty quick. So it is very tough if you are chasing these things for sure. But I do remember March 25th, 2021, there was some areas that did get some tornadoes, but it was a pretty challenging chase. I believe that was in Mississippi. There was quite a few tornado reports in Alabama as well. I think that was also in the high risk. It was a pretty large high risk, if I remember right, Josh. But I chased in Mississippi that day. I couldn't get all the way to Alabama because I had to work the next day. It was a one-day chase. I went all the way out to Tupelo and then went all the way back home. But that was a rough chase day, for sure. It's a tough area to chase, and it's an area that doesn't need to see any more severe weather. That's for sure. Along Interstate 55, near Oxford as well, near the University of Ole Miss. Yeah, definitely don't want to see any more of that tornado potential there. So, yeah, the coverage area here, K-Arc, Central Arkansas, they're going to be busy today tracking these storms. Daniel, got a question about Hot Springs. You can see that right there. It's in the edge of that medium tornado potential as well as that significant tornado potential. Hot Springs definitely has a little bit more of a higher risk for tornadoes, I think, Daniel, than northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. That's for sure. Stay weather aware today. It's not in the highest area for tornado potential, but 10% hashed area for significant tornadoes is pretty high end. So stay weather aware, keep an eye on the radar. You will be impacted by showers and storms fairly shortly. They're moving towards the area right now. In fact, I can show you this on Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. I'm going to move your comment out of the way, but I'm still talking about Hot Springs. You can see here those storms are racing towards the Hot Springs area right now. This storm right here, I would watch very closely as it moves to the northeast because it's going to tap into that very favorable environment pretty soon. But right now, nothing that strikes me as imminent tornado potential with these storms. But again, much better parameters where you are. So just watch the radar very closely today. Kat, if you have a second, can you show the satellite imagery of where next week's system is currently, and what year does this pattern remind you of so far? 2012, early 2000s. It's hard to compare years, Kat, because we haven't seen everything yet. We're just now at the end of March. We're getting into April. But one thing that I have noticed is that we're starting to shift from a La Nina pattern into a neutral pattern. And typically when that happens, and I'm going to go ahead and do a webcam for you. Typically when that happens, we do get crazy years in terms of severe weather potential. I can go back to 2013. We saw quite a few severe weather outbreaks. In fact, that was the last year we had an EF5 tornado near Moore, Oklahoma. We also had another strong tornado, El Reno, that year. That was not an EF5, but it was the widest tornado that's ever been recorded. So to answer your question, it's too early to determine. But based on previous years, Kat, where the pattern shifted from a La Nina to a neutral pattern, we've had pretty big time severe weather potential. Dan's calling me right now, so I'm going to take this call. while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you Mega Doppler. Hey, what's up, Dan?
Do you still FB living?
I still be living right now. I still be jiving.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna come in normal time. I just don't think these storms are doing anything for our area. So,
I agree, and I've been talking about that. These storms, I mean, even the one severe thunderstorm warning petered out really quickly. I think
yeah, it's just getting sheared apart.
sheared apart.
The upper level energy isn't here yet.
Yep.
And,
Veering winds.
And veering winds.
Yep.
That's what we talked about. So that southwesterly flow really removing convergence, and some storms formed eastern counties, but overall nothing here.
And the models did a good job on it, by the way.
Well, they did yesterday. 2 days ago they didn't, but
Yeah.
but that's why we backed off.
Yep.
That's why we backed off. So
Yep.
now time to get ready for Tuesday, but I'll be in there and I'll see you here in a little bit.
Yep. I'm talking a little bit about Tuesday right now, and then we'll wrap things up. I think.
All right, sounds good. And if you're not there, I understand. If you can, just kind of babysit the radar though before.
Yeah. I'll be here. I'll be
just
here.
kind of let me know when you're headed out.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. All right, man.
Dude.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. So I just got done with Dan. Same deal. We're thinking that these storms are starting to wind down. Really, they didn't take off. So is it really winding down if they never took off? People are asking. So, Kat, to go back to your question, and Josh, you also mentioned 2008 as well. 2008 started off fairly busy the first few months, similar to this year, but not all aspects of 2008 remind me of this year. I agree with that as well. Kat, I would say 2013 is a little bit. I would say this year, I think, is starting to lean more towards 2013. We've already had a pretty significant tornado that impacted Mississippi. We could have significant tornadoes that impact areas today, and we could have more significant tornadoes that impact the midsection of the country next Tuesday. So this is a very busy year. This has already been a brutal year for a lot of us here in the United States in terms of weather. And we're just now getting into April. We're just now getting to primary severe weather season. This is going to be a long next couple of months, I think, for sure. You also had a second part to your question about the satellite imagery. I will get to that in just a minute. But I wanted to show the severe weather risk one more time for Tuesday. And James, you're exactly right. Tuesday does look brutal. Tuesday looks like something we're going to have to watch very closely. And there it is. I mean, the severe weather risk has shifted, no doubt about it. The enhanced risk is now no longer centered over Arkansas, but it is centered over Northwest Arkansas. And that's a troubling sign, because this is a system you don't want to mess with. And again, we're 5 days out. So there's a lot of time for things to change, folks. We don't even know the timing of the system yet, or the exact timing of it. That's going to be determined within the next few days. So Zach's going to be in here over the weekend. He's going to be watching this very closely. He's going to give you guys the latest updates. And we'll all be here Tuesday as well if we do have severe weather potential. But I think now's the time to just be weather aware, keep an eye on the latest info. Again, not saying that things are certain to happen, because 5 days out, there's never a certainty in the weather, even 20 minutes out, right? But there is potential next week, and we need to watch it very closely. And yes, Josh, 2011 is a great mention. That was a La Nina year, purely a La Nina year. So we didn't have that transition from La Nina to a neutral pattern like we are right now. That's why I said 2013 is the year that I would compare it to, because that was a year where we saw it go from La Nina to neutral. But 2011 was an Dan told me this. He thought the world was ending that year. And, I remember a lot of storms when I lived in central Arkansas that impacted Mayflower, Valonia. You had the Joplin tornado that year. You had the super outbreak. April 25th obviously impacted Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas did get impacted, but more central Arkansas, eastern Arkansas, and then through the 28th with that severe weather outbreak in the deep south. 2011 was a very bad year. And then not only that, we also had significant amounts of snow and a full-on blizzard. pretty much in some locations in Northwest Arkansas, 2 feet of snow. So 2011, big time year, Josh. It could be dang near close to that. We already have those high tornado counts. But I would only say that it's not comparable to 2011 because we're already switching to a neutral pattern. But it's dang near close to it, Josh. Very good mention there by you. Let's see here. Did we have a horrible summer in 2013, or was that the year it seemed to have a more milder, moderate summer than usual? 2013 actually was, I believe, a little bit more on the moderate side. It wasn't mild, but also wasn't exceedingly hot. If you want to go to exceedingly hot years, Kat, 2011 and 2012 were bad years for heat in Northwest Arkansas, and really for a lot of folks in the midsection of the country. 2013 was more moderate. And you typically see that with a neutral pattern change. I do anticipate that will be the case this summer, though. You never know. You never know. Man, Marley, you lived in Mississippi in 2011. Yeah, that was just such a rough year. I mean, it was. I mean, if you're a meteorologist, then man, you had to think the world was ending for sure. That was just a horrible year for severe weather. And James, you're exactly right. When we look at these maps here, we're talking about potential. We're talking about possibilities. It's good to be prepared several days in advance of a potential severe weather event because once it happens, you're ready to rock and roll if it does. Let's see here. Josh, 2011 also had the Piedmont, Oklahoma EF4 or EF5, I believe. I don't actually remember what that was rated. That's a good question. Okay, it was EF3. So the El Reno one. Oh, wait, 2011. Sorry, 2011. 2013 was the EF3 El Reno tornado. That was the widest tornado. The 2011 El Reno tornado was an EF5. That was an EF5 tornado. That one was bad. Yeah, that was definitely an EF5. That year was just horrible. Just a horrible year for severe weather potential. And that happened May 24th, 2011. What a bad year that was. Man. Man, oh man. Yeah, it is. It's Arkansas weather. It's the Arkansas roller coaster, Cat. That's for sure. And it's crazy how many steps we've taken in the weather world to actually be able to forecast these things, 5 to 7 days out. However, same time, we still got a lot of things that, we've got to improve on in terms of modeling because obviously the models are not perfect. They're never going to be perfect, right? They could be better, though. That's for sure. They could definitely be better. Case in point, yesterday, the models were showing nothing. And you look out the window, you look at water vapor, you're like, there's going to be storms this afternoon. Of course there is. You look at the water vapor, there's a ton of moisture. There's a big disturbance moving through. And the model's like, no, there's not going to be any thunderstorms. So as a forecaster, you got to be aware of those patterns. And thankfully, here in Northwest Arkansas, we've got a dang good one as chief here at KWA Fox 24. Dan Scoff is a tremendous forecaster. I'm amazed at his knowledge. And I learn something new from him every single day. And he's absolutely amazing. And Tuesday next week, we'll all be here and we'll be ready to roll if we do have severe weather. When was the last EF5 tornado? 2013. Jacob, that is correct. That would be the Moore, Oklahoma tornado. That happened a week before the El Reno tornado, which honestly could have been an EF5. However, remember, it's also rated off of damage. And it was pretty much out in an open field. So it was only rated an EF3, but that was the widest tornado ever recorded. So last EF5 tornado, 2013, Moore, Oklahoma. It's been a decade since then. All right. Let's see. Let's take one more look at Megadoppler, and then we'll wrap things up here. Again, I'll be here until these storms are out of the area, watching them very closely. But I'll say this. I am going to go ahead and say that west of Interstate 49, the severe potential is pretty much zero now. It's not 100% zero, but it's getting there. east of Interstate 49. Still got some thunderstorms firing off. Still got to watch these closely. But look at that. There's a severe thunderstorm warning. It was allowed to expire early, just like I said. Storms it's just not taking off. The upper level support's not there. The veering winds, as Dan and I were talking about, just not there. There are some severe thunderstorms starting to take off at Mountain Home. So here we go, folks. Once they get east of the area, they are going to start taking off like a rocket. So we'll have to watch that very closely. Kat, you're right. I got so caught up talking about these past storm systems and past years that I forgot. Let's go ahead and look at satellite. Let's see where this thing is right now, because we can look at that. We can attempt to find that. It should be within range now 5 days out. So let's look here. So you've got this disturbance here. Ooh, man, that thing is that might be it, Kat, right here. I'm gonna draw a circle around it. This might be it, I think. I'm gonna look a little bit more here. That looks pretty strong. That looks pretty impressive. But that might be it. I'm gonna look here just to make sure and confirm that. But wow, it's a pretty intense little system going on there. Let me look here. Let me confirm that's what it is. Oh, not even showing the freaking thing. There you go. Sorry about that. I'm all over the place right now. It's what happens when you're up from 1:30 a.m. to now. I think that's our system. Now I'm gonna confirm that real quick, Kat. But that's a little piece of energy. This might actually, Kat, be what's coming through Sunday and Monday. Because remember, there's going to be multiple disturbances that move through the area before Tuesday. So I'm gonna be looking here off the screen for just a moment here. If you could stand by for just a few more minutes, I'm gonna make sure I've got the right thing pulled up, because I want to make sure we can track what's going to happen with this system before it comes in and give you the right information. So just stand by. I'm going to watch this very closely here. What I'm looking at right now is the vorticity map, and I'm going to see these little pieces of energy that are going to be moving through. Okay. So here's what I can tell you right now, Kat. This right here, this piece of energy that we're looking at right now, Sunday, Monday, this is going to eject to the east, push towards northwest Arkansas and the River Valley, and impact our weather as we go into Sunday and Monday. So that's that isolated storm potential that we're watching very closely. But if you want to know what's coming through Monday, there it is right there. This is monstrous. This right here is something that is going to cause some problems as we go into next Tuesday. But I believe that's that piece of energy that we're going to be watching very closely going into Tuesday. I'm going to make sure one more time that's what we're looking at. But I think that's the piece of energy that's going to cause us some problems and some headaches as we go into next Tuesday. Again, though, remember, there's multiple subtle pieces of energy that may not be showing up on this vorticity map that I'm looking at right now. So that could impact things as well. But again, here you go. Tuesday system right here. Tuesday system. And then Monday or Sunday, Monday right here. And by the way, Kat, I'm going to tell you this right now. You just mentioned it. You just mentioned the $1 million question. Baja, the models are going to be terrible with this piece of energy. I'm going to tell you that right now. The models are going to show barely anything with this piece of energy because it's going to be moving through the Baja region of Mexico and ejecting towards northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. I can guarantee it right now. But I can also tell you this. We're probably going to see some shower and storm activity Sunday night. We may see some more storm activity Monday. And then after that moves through, the big one will come through on Tuesday. That's currently located near Alaska and the west coast of Canada and northwest Washington state. So that's it right there. That should be enough. We're going to wrap things up now. With that, it does look like the storm potential continues to go down in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Again, I'll be here in studio just in case we do have any more severe weather. I'm going to get the coffee, right? I'm going to get the caffeine in me. And then I'm going to go home and rest for a minute and then go watch some Razorback baseball because it's going to be a good series this weekend against Alabama. Appreciate everybody who's come out to this this weather live stream. Always appreciate you guys asking questions. Love answering them. Love sharing knowledge. Love learning new things as well. I learn a lot from all of you and Dan every single day, so it's much appreciated. Stay safe. Keep an eye on the radar as well. I will be. Stay weather aware as we go into next Tuesday, and we will reconvene, I'm sure, as we go into next week. So God bless everybody. Have a great rest of your Friday and have a fantastic weekend if we don't talk again. See ya.